morning, everyone. It's Michelle here with ASIS Massage Education, coming to you with another great interview and guest on our live stream today. Happy to have everyone here live. And for those of you joining us later, thanks for coming on and checking out the recording, and hope we see you here most Fridays, 1 o'clock Arizona time. Today's guest is Rebecca Sturgeon. She is the Education Director for Healwell, which we're going to hear all about the organization and what it does for the massage therapy field and healthcare in general. Very progressive. I'm going to use that word, and I'm going to ask Rebecca what she feels about it. But in my opinion, very progressive on the cutting edge of many great ideas and education, and setting a lot of great trends, I think, in our field. Rebecca is also the author, a co-author of this wonderful new book called Oncology Massage, Integrative Approach to Cancer Care. And so I'll be asking her a little bit about that as well. So without further ado, let's welcome Rebecca. Hello, Rebecca.
Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
Yay.
Happy to have you join.
Thank you. I'm really glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. So I've been following Healwell for a little bit. I heard about the organization. And would that be fair to say call it an organization or call it an would that be okay? I wanted to make sure that was correct. For the last couple of years, I feel like that you and everyone that's working there has done so many really cutting edge programs and education opportunities and things like that. So I'd love to find out more about that. And I was so happy when you replied right away when I just said, hey, can somebody come on and talk about it? Because I think you're doing amazing things and I want my students to know all about it. And you were so gracious and accepted. And then I found out you wrote a book and I'm like, wait, I got to read it first. Hold the phone. Yeah. I want to read it first and then we'll talk. So I'm really happy you worked with me and was flexible to help me do that. So thank you again. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into the field and then how you got connected with Healwell.
Yeah. So I have been a massage therapist for a number of years that I'm not sure about right now, but more than a decade. Yeah. But I actually got into massage careers, and the last career I had before massage was I was working in senior care, and I was basically doing marketing for senior living communities. And the best part of my day every day was when I got to sit down with the residents and just be with them. And so I massage had been on my radar, sort of on the back burner for a long time. And the more I thought about it, the more I thought, I want to do direct care. I don't want to sit in an office and talk about spreadsheets. I want to do direct care with people. And it seemed like massage therapy, like I looked at a lot of different things, like physical therapy and nursing and other things. But it seemed like massage therapists had the most time with their patients and clients. And I loved the idea of that kind of leisure to just really be attentive to another human being. So I went to massage school and here I am.
I know.
Yeah,
I agree with that statement as well. Like I don't know of any other field within the medical community that has that much one-on-one time with our clients. So pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's an immense privilege that we have and responsibility that we have as massage therapists, which I'm sure I could talk about for an hour, but
yeah,
there's other things
to talk about today. So much.
But you'd also ask how I got connected with Healwell. So I, through various twists and turns of my career, I had learned oncology massage and was teaching for a while with an organization called Greet the Day. And you spoke with Jackie Sellers, who also she's my oncology massage mama and mentor, and got me started teaching. And through Greet the Day and Healwell shared a table at one of the AFMTE conferences several years ago, and that's how I met the people of Healwell. And ultimately transitioned over to Healwell because both of these organizations are wonderful, but where I wanted to go was more in the direction that Healwell was going. And so I've been with them for about 3 years now, I think, 3-4 years. Started off just teaching
Mhm.
classes, and then eventually started doing some administrative work in the education department. And now I'm the education director, funnily enough, sitting at a desk looking at spreadsheets. So,
Yeah.
circle.
Full circle moment.
Yeah, exactly.
It's okay when you reach that in a different way, I feel like, because I'm kind of the same
Right.
thing. I'm at my desk now too. I'm barely in. I have one client today, which is like, okay, my weekly client that I'm working on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yes. Yes.
I get it. But I feel like, yeah, that's what the work we're putting in right now to create other things in place. It kind of makes some sense right at the moment. So I
Yeah.
completely feel you on that.
Yeah.
So can
Absolutely.
you speak a little bit to those who don't know Healwell, what
Sure.
its main philosophy is and kind of what they set out to do and what they've been kind of working on, some of the general stuff?
Yeah, yeah. So Healwell is a small nonprofit organization. We are based in Washington, D.C. Area, Northern Virginia.
Mhm.
And we do education for massage therapists and all kinds of healthcare providers. We do service programs in the Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C., Maryland area. So we work at different hospitals and clinics in that area, providing massage therapy that is meaningfully integrated into care.
Mhm.
So that's part of our one of the things that we really look for with our clinical partners is, are they going to really make the massage therapists a part of the care team, because
Mhm.
that's the direction that we want to take the profession in.
Right.
And we also do some research, research around massage therapy. We had a paper come out about a year and a half, 2 years ago, that
Mhm.
was some qualitative research that we had done around using massage therapy in palliative care, which I don't have at the top of my brain right now, but you can look it up.
Yeah.
You can look it up,
Yeah.
or I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you later if you're interested.
Okay. Yeah.
um, and really, our philosophy and our approach is that, first of all, massage therapy is healthcare. So
Mhm.
we encourage folks to act and think and be in that mode. And also, healthcare is a little bit broken.
Mhm.
And we really advocate a return to um, putting love and care for another human being at the center of healthcare.
Mhm.
And so a lot of what we do and what we offer is about that. And part of that is this idea that we've been talking about for several years, but has become urgent, um, truly urgent in the last year, that
Mhm.
healthcare is social justice work.
Mhm.
And in order to really honor that, we
Mhm.
have to be involved in social justice work overtly.
Mhm. Right.
So that's a lot of the directions that we've been going, and that the offerings that we've been considering have been really clear about that. And we've been doing a
Right.
lot of soul searching around that in the organization
Yeah.
as well. Yeah.
I like you using that word soul searching because I think, where I heard a lot about Healwell is doing a lot of, uh, well, I wouldn't say a lot of classes, but it's one particular class that I'm thinking of that there was about, um, uh, what's the word I'm looking for is talking about the different racial disparities in healthcare and our understanding of being just kind of understand that we as healthcare providers need to be more educated in that
Mhm.
there is an inequity happening and how can we best approach or learn and kind of understand that there is even such a thing. And I think for a lot of people it was like, wait a minute, that's what are you talking about? One, and then there was a lot of defensiveness that happened. It's like, well, I'm not one person to like discriminate, or I don't feel like I'm that kind of person. So I think for a lot of us, we had a soul search and say, wait a minute, I think all of us can definitely identify with being on the other side of it,
Mhm.
or maybe having a little bit of work to do on our own, that there's always something to learn and to to better approach how we're working as this like human care kind of advocacy as well. So
Mhm.
I know that was the first thing I heard of a Healwell. Nobody, I never heard of any other group having that in terms of massage therapy. So that's why I call you guys kind of trailblazers and trendsetters. Or maybe not trendsetters because not everyone's following along with the trend. But would you say that that's something that was kind of maybe blew you up on the scene a little bit more and talked a little bit more on with massage therapy and such?
Yeah, I don't know if it blew us up or not. I guess it depends on in which way you mean blew us up, but
Yeah, like it
just
kind of went viral with things, and a lot of people were like really trying to get the information and saying, "Oh yeah, we
yeah,
need this education," and
yeah.
you were the only ones really providing it and being open to talk about it and let's have the conversations. Kind of what I.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the truth is that it's out there, and it's
Mhm.
been out there. It just hasn't necessarily been massage focused.
Mhm.
There are other people, massage therapists, who are doing this work as well.
Mhm.
So I don't want to say that we're the only ones.
Mhm.
I think that we benefited from a certain amount of privilege that we had by being a known entity
Mhm.
to some people, to some parts of massage therapy world.
Right.
Um, yeah, and it really, we have also benefited by finding the other people who are doing this work and have been doing it longer than we
Mhm.
have, because we
Mhm.
don't have all the answers and we have
Right.
so much to learn, like so
Mhm.
much, because inequity, it goes beyond, I mean, I probably don't have to tell you this, but it goes beyond racial inequity,
Mhm.
particularly in healthcare too. There are inequities related to gender identity, to
Mhm.
LGBTQ status, to weight, to fatness,
Mhm.
to economic um, status, and
Mhm.
pulling all those threads apart is the work of a lifetime. Um,
Mhm.
and it's necessary. I mean, what we're finding out more and more is that it's not really useful to just pick one thread and pull it,
Right.
um, because we're all intersections of a lot of different identities. So it's been really helpful for us to partner with people who have been thinking about this from different aspects for a long
Mhm.
time, and
Mhm.
to try to elevate their voices,
Right.
um, and bring forth people who are, in fact, expert in this, and learn from them,
Mhm.
invite
Yeah.
others. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love that underlying theme that you're bringing up, and that I feel like was again and again in your book and all over the Healwell website is this
Yeah.
sense of we're not in this alone, and there are other people
Right.
who we're bringing on to make it better, and that we are not islands, and why not keep learning from each other and include each other in on it to make it better as well. So I see that every time when I listen to the podcast with Kel and at the bringing on the guests that are coming in and just asking the questions like, I don't know anything, please just tell me about it, instead of like, okay, I already know where this is going, so you just confirm it for me. I feel like it's definitely like a wide open, let's learn together
Yes.
and grow that way. So I really love that. It's permeated all through everything that you guys are doing, and I love it. We are big collaborators over here. We love that feeling of
Excellent.
not competitors. We all collaborate for
Yes.
the greater good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it's, I mean, as soon as you decide that I think, as soon as you decide that you're an expert on something and you have nothing left to learn,
Hmm.
um, then I think you lose your actual usefulness in
Yeah,
providing good, for
right.
human beings. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's so important. We were just talking about this as an instructor. We were talking about different philosophies in massage, and you hear people say this and that. I mean, it doesn't even matter what the context is, but you'll always. I don't know if you're on Facebook at all, but here going to those massage groups and people fighting about whatever. It's like anything else. People are always going to fight about stuff, and people are so stick their heels in the sand, and they're just like, no, this is what I know, and that's it.
Yeah.
And like we can't grow that way if you're just going to be closed-minded and not think that we can progress.
Right.
Yeah, and one of those things, I talked to Jackie Sellers about this too, and perhaps you have some information on this too, and the thoughts about it was with cancer and working with people with cancer in the oncology massage field. And I heard just recently somebody currently practicing therapist who said, oh, you can't massage anyone with cancer. And my brain went, whoa, that's like so outdated piece of information. And if we didn't open up to be collaborative and think about possibilities, where would we be in oncology
Mhm.
massage? Right.
Right, right. And how many people would not have benefited from the skilled touch of trained
Hmm.
therapist? Um,
Right.
it's yeah. Yeah, Facebook is a little bit of a minefield for me.
Yeah.
But
I limit
yeah,
myself.
yeah. I mean, that's one of the things
Yeah.
we did at Healwell is, as a response to that, we created an online, an interdisciplinary subscription-based community, our Healwell community,
Mhm.
which is open to anyone. And I'm sorry I forgot to send you that link, but you can ask me
That's
more.
okay. I might be able to pull it up while we're chatting.
But it's community.healwell.org, and it's basically a social network that is all healthcare providers from all different fields. Because in addition to being collaborative and being open to ideas, and most importantly, being open to being wrong and messing up,
Mhm.
um, because that's what we need most of all. Um, in addition to that, like breaking out of your silo is
Mhm.
incredibly important.
Yeah.
You do what you do and you do it well, but if you never communicate with other healthcare providers, then I think you miss out on a full understanding of the
Mhm.
different ways to care for a human being and the possible ways that you could support your clients and patients.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed there's a story in the book, and I will mess up all the details, but basically the massage therapist talking to the patient and finds out some information, was able to go back and talk to the nurse gets everyone else involved, and they're
Oh
able to
yeah.
create a new plan
Yeah.
based on that information. So if they had kept that information to themselves, or even just written it down, maybe no one saw it or saw it in time, that patient wouldn't have benefited from a better solution to what was going on. So I love that story.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
Yeah, exactly. No, you got it. You got it pretty much correct because that was one of my stories. It was a client who had a potential bone metastasis and was talking to me about back pain,
Mhm,
as you
mhm.
do with your massage
Yeah,
therapist. But, you
right.
know, because of training and education and also because of being in a collaborative space, she got a
Mhm.
scan like right away. And
Yeah.
who knows? I mean, I don't know how that cancer wanted to progress, but
Mhm.
right away is better than never.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just being able to be part of that. And I love the word silo. I noticed it on Healwell about that. And
Yeah.
that visual is great. It's a great thought because you usually see the silos all together. And if you're
Yeah.
only seeing in your one, you're not going to really get far to go anywhere else. So yeah,
Right.
that's pretty cool. I mentioned one thing, the podcast. I know there's a podcast going on at Healwell and we have some of the classes. Would you like to speak to some of the things that's going on over there that's open to massage therapists or anybody else at Healwell?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Oh my goodness, we have a ton of things.
Yeah.
The podcast is called Interdisciplinary, and it's available wherever you find your podcasts. Comes out every Saturday.
Mhm.
We actually just recorded an episode before I got on with you today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we also have coming up, and I'm really excited for this. We're doing our first ever conference. We've been talking about this for a couple of years, having a conference that is centered around social justice in healthcare. So in October 9th and 10th, and there's the link, we have our conference. It's called Just Care, Social Justice in Healthcare. This is live online event that
Mhm.
will be broadcast from within our Healwell community. So people who register for the conference also get the conference, and they get a 1-year membership in the Healwell online interdisciplinary
Awesome.
community. And because we have CEs available for multiple different healthcare professions like acupuncturists, nurses, PTs, OTs, chaplains, because NCB is not all the way there with recognizing classes that are around social justice, but not specifically about massage.
Mhm.
We are working on getting CEs for massage therapists, but that's not a guarantee. So we
Mhm.
decided to offer massage therapists a discounted registration.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's a pretty significant discount. You can email me at education@healwell.org if
Mhm.
you want to attend the conference with that discount. Just email me and I will
Cool.
send you the link,
Awesome.
which was way too long for Michelle to post here. Um, but the conference itself, I'm so excited about this, Michelle. I can't even tell you.
Yeah.
Um, I also want to say that if October 9th and 10th is, the 2 days that you go up to the cabin in the woods and have your quiet time and you don't want to interrupt that, if you register for the conference, you have access to the recordings of the session for up to a year, so you can watch
Nice.
them later. But we have just speakers on a number of different topics related to social justice and healthcare. So there's our keynote speaker for Saturday is speaking about the impact of identity on healthcare. His name is Dr. Chase Anderson, and he writes a lot about being LGBTQ, being Black, and how that affects him as a physician, and mental health as well. Really excited to hear from him. We have people talking about incarceration and how that can chronically affect your healthcare. We have people talking about one of our podcasts that is actually coming out, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday. We have a guest who used to be the Surgeon General for the Navajo Nation, who is talking about healthcare, retaining their sovereignty in healthcare. We have people talking about creative community solutions, what they have done in underserved communities to actually provide needed care, pediatric healthcare, adding fatness to your intersectional lens for healthcare, LGBTQ older adults. It's just, there's really something for everybody. And what we love the most about this is that we chose people who were, first of all, we were delighted that everyone said yes. All these people said yes. But these are people who are actually doing the work, and they have ideas for how you can get involved. You, me, all, we can get involved in doing the work. Because it's good to talk about it. It's good to know about it. But if you don't take that next step into, okay, so what is mine to do about it? Then nothing changes. So it's just going to be such a great experience.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do you find, and maybe, I don't know if you have this in your experience or not, but I know of some massage therapists when this topic has come up in different groups. Again, I'm going to my Facebook group information. I do like to kind of get my finger to figure out what people are talking about, what's topical, but in that they're like, well, a body's a body. What does it matter? Right. Muscle, everyone's got the same muscle. And so why do I care? Why should I care? Do you get that kind of idea thrown out there or question to you? And can you solve that all in one answer and tell us what the key is to world peace?
Oh,
it's a huge loaded question, right? It's
if that was in fact true, that would be great. But it's not true. All you have to do is talk to someone who doesn't look like you about, their day to know that that's not true. And it's even if you consider yourself to be the person who doesn't discriminate and treats everybody the same. We all have implicit biases. We do. It's the way our brains work. It's not about you're a bad person or we have them. And body's a body. I know.
It's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I know for a fact that, well, I'm trying to decide whether to tell this story or not. Yeah, I'll tell this story. So my partner's not white. Okay. And you may not have noticed, but I am. So
spoiler alert.
Let's just make that clear.
Listening, maybe.
Ooh. And he used to live in a neighborhood that was super white. And lived there when he was taking care of his mother. It's a long story. And he did not feel safe taking a walk around his neighborhood unless I was with him or unless he was walking his mother's dog, which was this tiny little cockapoo. And it's
dogs
like,
do make things better. Yeah.
Right. Especially tiny little cockapoo. That's harmless. That signals harmless. But the point is that there are spaces in the world where he has to actively signal I'm harmless in a way that I don't have to.
Right.
And it's all based on gender and the color of your skin. So that's,
Mhm.
I mean, if a body's a body's a body, that shit shouldn't
Yeah.
happen.
Right.
And this happens in healthcare too. Ask
Mhm.
any person who lives in a fat body what it is like to just go in for an earache with a physician who's decided that that fat bodies are a problem.
Right. Just
You
lose
know,
some weight and come back to me later.
right, right.
Mhm.
Wait, like what? Lose some weight in my ear? Is that
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you're saying? You know,
Right.
this is and if, for anyone who doubts that this is an issue anymore, I encourage you to listen to the podcast this Saturday. We were talking to one of our other keynote speakers from the conference, and
Mhm.
was talking about this
Yeah.
specifically. So, yeah, I mean, ideally, a body's a body, but we all have muscles and bones, and um,
Mhm.
but this is not true in the world. Look at your office space. I encourage everyone to look with a very clear eye. And I'm not saying that I'm asking you to look for your faults. I'm asking you to be honest about your
Mhm.
space.
Mhm.
Um, can someone in a wheelchair get to your space? Is there
Mhm.
enough room in your space for them to move around and maneuver?
Mhm.
Can they use the bathroom? Is your space welcoming to LGBTQ people?
Mhm.
Is your space welcoming to people of color? Is your space, is there anything in your space that signals, I don't know, a particular religion or background? And I'm not saying that any of this is bad. I'm
Right.
just saying that awareness of
Mhm.
our surroundings and how we unintentionally exclude um, people or exclude people's access to care. Like I used to work in a space, I'm not proud of this, but when I first moved to Louisville, I worked in a space that was up a narrow flight of stairs. And I have no idea why I chose that space because the people I like to work with are either very old or very sick. And I
Mhm.
basically chose a space that was really hard for them to get to.
Mhm.
I don't work out of that space anymore, but it just didn't occur to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's and I there's a there you guys do have a course, I believe, to be more. I'm trying to look for it. You probably know better. To have a more welcoming practice. Do you know the title of it? With
Yeah,
finding it?
there's a couple of different ones. There's one called Creating an Affirming and Inclusive Practice, and that is
Okay, I think that's the
specifically
one I'm thinking
about yeah, that is specifically about LGBTQ
of. Hmm.
folks and how to create your practice to be more open.
Hmm.
There's another one that's great that's called Challenging Racism in the Massage Industry that our friends Sakina Arizari and Meg Donnelly put together for us. That's a really valuable look at things that I learned a lot and learned so much from them. Things that
Hmm.
we take for granted that are pretty problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, pretty. Yeah. Oh, I just found the challenging racism in the massage industry. Uh,
Yay.
yeah, and they're most of the courses, from my understanding, they're all online and self-paced, correct?
Yeah. So most of them are online on demand.
Mhm.
We did and plan to in the future again at some point offer live
Mhm.
courses. We just don't have any scheduled at the moment.
Okay, yeah, but
Um,
I'm looking like 9 pages of different classes that are available right now,
yeah.
and not just for massage therapy. There are for other professions as well.
Yeah.
On yeah, okay,
Absolutely. Yeah, and there was one in particular. Is it okay if I plug Opening to the
yeah,
Mystery?
absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
please.
So there is a course that is offered. We do offer some courses through our online platform that are in real time, like this.
Mhm, mhm,
And one of those is Opening to the Mystery.
mhm,
Opening to the Mystery, when in the before times, was a 3-day retreat. And we've taken, or Cal Cates, who teaches the class, has taken that and turned it into 6 days online. And it's
mhm.
6 days, so the sessions are shorter because being online for 8 hours a day is,
That's hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's not awesome.
Mhm,
Um, so it's November 8th through the 13th, the next running of it. In this course, it's 21 CEs for massage therapists and a lot of other healthcare professions. And
mhm,
it's really about it's a little bit about end of life, but it's more about being a human being who will someday die, and really, um, really feeling into what that means, and how that can affect the way that you interact with the world and what your
Right.
values are. Um, it's pretty life changing. I've taken this
Mm-hmm.
course, and I really, if you're going to take one course from Healwell and you're willing to invest in yourself and you're ready for some challenges, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
Take this one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when it is in person, is it like in a really cool retreat center type of place? And
Well, that depends. In the
uh-huh.
past, it has been.
Uh-huh.
I don't know where anything, honestly, I don't know where anything is going to happen.
Right.
So that's
To be
to be,
determined.
yeah,
Yeah.
to be determined. I
Yes.
don't know.
I love it.
Yeah.
And it sounds like there's always something brewing over there, right? Do you
Yeah.
always have a little like ideas of things to come down, or is there anything that you're developing right now that you're thinking about? Or
There's a few things. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Nothing that's developed enough to say anything about. And it's not a secret. It's just,
Yeah,
I don't want to say anything until it's actually happening.
right.
Um, but we are always thinking about what we are doing is we're always thinking about like really staying aligned with what our core values are,
Mhm.
and how we can get just communicate this, and what kind of education will support people,
Mhm.
um, in doing their own work, and
Right.
whatever that means for you.
Yeah.
We're not trying to tell you what your work is.
Right.
We're trying to support you in being the person who can do that work,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah.
I like that. It's giving like the tools and the empowering of people to really put in the work and do it for themselves as
Right.
well. So
Right.
yeah. So you don't have all the answers, just a couple of them that you can
Uh,
help us with, right?
I don't know that I have
Direct it to
any
the
of the
other people.
answers. Well, our whole thing is that if you leave a Healwell class and you have not been made uncomfortable, then we didn't quite do our jobs.
Mm.
So
That's it. That's a tough job, I would think. Like you have to. I would think you'd have to have a tough skin. Has there been any challenging times where you don't have to think of a particular situation, but
yeah.
I can imagine it's hard for people, and I know for myself, it's hard to be questioned on things and to really
Mhm,
dig deep and be okay with being
mhm,
uncomfortable. That's
mhm.
hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
It is. It take even with practice, it's hard.
Hmm.
Uh, what we hope people will find and what we try to model, because part of that is, we're okay with ourselves being the ones who are made uncomfortable. Absolutely. That's necessary
Hmm.
too.
Yeah.
Um, but hopefully with enough practice, you start to learn that on the other side of uncomfortable is a really beautiful, deeper understanding,
Hmm.
and learning,
Yeah.
um, and a kind of recommitment
Hmm.
to who you are, and
Yeah.
what you value. Um, yeah.
Nice. I love that. And a couple of things you had mentioned in the Just Care conference, I'm thinking of. We have 4 campuses for our school, and
Mm,
one of the campuses is in an area where a large Navajo population is,
mhm,
and a lot of our students are from the Navajo uh, areas of the state as well, and to understand more of just it's opening your eyes and being able to welcome more and accommodate and just get a bigger eye-opening experience for me. I'm really looking forward to learning more about that as well. So
yeah.
that'll be really great with that one that guest you were talking about.
Oh,
That's
good.
about the certain, yeah, that'll be really great.
Yeah.
um so so we're talking a little bit about, or a lot about, I should say, the collaboration, working with other people, and working with, making the humankind part of healthcare important and on the forefront. And I think a lot of that it can be seen with oncology work that is out there. And I know for me, I have not been trained specifically in oncology massage as much. I've been learning a little bit since I've talked to Jackie and reading through your book as well. And it's been so eye opening to me to realize just how much all massage therapists really should have a good understanding of this. I don't know if I want to call it a modality or approach. Maybe approach might be a better idea for it.
Approach. Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what brought you into that world a little bit more, and what got you to write the book and the approach of that.
Oh my goodness. Well, I started Oncology Massage because I hated my job. My first job. No, see, it was always clear that I wasn't a spa therapist. Like even when I was going to massage school, I knew
Mhm.
that wasn't my
Yeah.
direction. But
Yeah.
because that's the place that will hire new therapists, that was my job out of massage school.
Yeah.
And I really disliked working at the spa. The people were lovely, but I just straight up hated it. And for some
Mhm.
reason, the spa that I worked at got a contract with an integrative cancer treatment center. This was in Chicago. I was in Chicago at the
Mhm.
time in the
Mhm.
area. And so they agreed to train whichever of their therapists they wanted in oncology massage. And so they offered it to all of us and said, you know, if you do this, then you can work at the cancer center a couple days a week. And I was like,
Mhm.
wait a minute, this gets me out of the spa? I'm in.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am in.
Mhm.
And I'll be honest with you, at the time I had absolutely zero interest in
Mhm.
oncology massage. Like I was all about going towards the geriatric massage,
Mhm.
and going in that direction. But then I took the oncology massage class and it was amazing. It
Mhm.
was amazing. And we got to, you know, on our last day, we did our clinic at the cancer treatment center with patients who were there.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it was just, it was like everything that I wanted. It was other healthcare professionals who you got to talk
Mhm.
to and ask questions, and they got to ask you questions. It was people who didn't really care if you forgot the aromatherapy in their freaking foot scrub. And this is me. I
Right,
understand
right, right.
that's a really a fulfilling thing for
Uh-huh.
some people, but it wasn't
Mhm.
for me.
Right.
Um, you know, people who were just like I could see a difference.
Mhm.
But you do so little in some cases and have so much of an effect.
Mhm.
Even if you just get somebody to have a nap for half an hour, it's so huge.
Yeah.
Um, so I loved it and I wanted to learn more, and ended up taking a manual lymphatic drainage class, which is where I met Jackie.
Mhm.
And through Jackie, got involved with teaching for Greet the Day, then got involved with Healwell. And the way I got involved with the book is actually Janet, my co-author, um, was looking. This book was her project. This was her idea. So
Mhm.
all credit to Janet for that. Um, and she had the outline, she had the book proposal, and she was looking for an American co-author.
Mhm.
She's Canadian,
Mhm.
because the publisher thought it would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Um, so she reached out to Healwell, and actually to Cal and Carrie, Cal Cates and Carrie Jordan first, and they were like, you know what, we don't really want to write a book right now, but
Mhm.
we know who might and who might be actually really good at this. So they introduced Janet to me, and Janet took a train. You know, we're total strangers, but she took a chance on me, and so we wrote this book.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah,
that's so cool.
yeah.
I love it. So what are some of the things that you both, and you know, you said Janet had most of the outline, but I imagine since you got on board with
Mhm.
it, you were very much in tune with that. What were some of the
Yeah.
ideas that you wanted to present that might have either been a new spin on things or a different way to approach it, of other kind of resources that are already kind of out there?
Yeah, well, I feel like what our book does differently, there are specific things in the book, which I can talk about in a minute, but overall, what our book does differently is really sees oncology massage as part of an integrated, like the title says, an integrative
Mhm.
approach to cancer care. That we don't, even if you are working in a spa or in a massage clinic or, you know, in a place where you don't talk to other medical professionals, you're
Mhm.
not working alone, especially with someone who's going through cancer treatment
Yeah.
or has been through cancer treatment. um, that it's really important, and it was really important to both of us to have at the front of a lot of what we wrote the understanding that whether or not you talk to the other medical professionals, you are still part of this person's care team.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to have at least a basic understanding
Right.
of what other kinds of healthcare interactions they're having.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that was also really important to us was to include as many patient and personal stories as possible.
Mm-hmm. I
Because
love
this,
those. I found myself
yeah,
skipping ahead to find them and read them and stuff. Yeah.
look for the blue boxes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Basically.
Find a box,
Yeah.
find a box. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because it's really
mhm.
the power of stories. I mean,
Yeah,
I could list facts for you all day, but what
yeah,
you'll remember is a story.
right. Yeah.
Um, and that's what was really valuable. And then
Yeah.
Janet had which I loved this idea, to have at least one section of the book be about oncology massage outside of North America. So oncology massage around the world, so we could
Yeah.
bring in like what's happening all over the world.
Right.
Um, and also to have a really strong research component in the book. Yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I was like almost overwhelming with the amount of resources that was in there. I was like, you
Yeah.
could have. I always tell students, like, if you find something interesting, always look at what the research is, because then that can point you into other direction of more things that are
Mhm.
interesting. And I'm like, I will take all like years to get through all of the like pages of like these are all resources, these
Yep.
pages and pages and pages. Uh,
Yep.
so yeah, it's amazing. And I love the first component you talked about is understanding the other treatments, and the really going into depth, like what actually is going on in the body, and breaking it down in a way that makes sense to someone. I'll speak for myself. I'm just a massage therapist. Like, I'm not a doctor, and I don't want to have to read the really intense textbook type of definitions of things. I want you to just explain to me so I understand
Mhm.
right away and not have to take a dictionary out and figure it all out too. So
Right.
yeah, it's laid out really, really beautifully. And I love all the charts and really just broken down really nicely for everyone. So yeah, I'm wrapping myself up into it again. But even
Yay.
just like all the treatments and the charts and the wrong way, everything
Yeah.
that's in there, and really helpful to just find things quickly too in it. So I loved it from a cancer perspective, but also just talking about patient care in it. And I
Yeah.
just love that throughout the whole book. I think it's a great reminder, even if this isn't your modality or your population that you work on,
Mhm.
there's so much in here to take away in just how you approach your sessions with people and how you treat them.
Yeah. Well, and it's like you said earlier, even if you don't think that this is your population that you work on, you're going to have somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee, 100%
Yeah.
guarantee, you're going to have
Yeah.
somebody who has a cancer experience in their life. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've said in a couple of places, my goal with anything I do with oncology massage, my goal is to make myself as an oncology massage educator irrelevant because this is taught in basic education.
Right.
It just really that's where it needs to be, but it's not there yet. So
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
Even us in the last few years, we've updated our curriculum to include it. It's always kind of been on there, but if we didn't have an instructor, then we're just like, well, maybe we'll just talk about it for half a day or something. But
right.
making sure that we're mentioning
Yeah,
it, not just the one sentence like, well, if you're interested in it, go find a class in it. We don't want to do that either.
yeah,
Yeah. But we also do give the resources too. Like, I'm always pumping up Jackie's classes because she's local here,
yeah,
down
yeah,
in Arizona. So
yeah.
make sure you take those classes. So yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So if somebody wanted to take class from you on ecology, do you offer that as well?
Well, I teach through Healwell.
Hmm.
Right now, we don't have, again, we don't have our live oncology
Right.
massage class scheduled yet.
Hmm.
We do have a number of oncology massage classes online on demand. What we have online on demand is not enough because
Uh-huh.
you need the in-person supervision for the modulation of pressure and things like that.
Right.
So I would encourage you to, if you want to just dip your toe in, take a look at our online portal, look at some of the classes. If
Hmm.
you want to reinforce your in-person education with a whole lot of information,
Hmm.
we've got a ton in
Yeah.
there. Um, but also look into, until we get our live scheduled classes, look into classes from Jackie, from Greet the Day, from I don't know if Tracy Walton is but from other places that are offering their in-person classes.
Yeah, I think I'm seeing more and more people starting to offer the in-person classes, even in a smaller capacity maybe, but hopefully we can get those all up to capacity soon if we can all behave ourselves and get things under control.
Yeah.
We would hope.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's the question.
So is there anything else you'd like to make sure everyone knows about Healwell or yourself before we get into our hot button questions or hot seat questions for you?
Well, about Healwell, I would like you to know that even though, we do want to make you uncomfortable, we're really friendly and fun. And we want to see pictures of your pets. So
that's important.
Yes.
Makes my day.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So to recap too about the conference that's coming up in October, that's the website there. And for massage therapists, they can get a significant discount because of the CE not credits. And so to contact you for that discount and the link and everything, and that's your email address there.
Yes.
And then we have the course coming up in November, the opening to the mystery with Cal Cates from Healwell. Right. And I have to do this. I know you didn't put this up there, but I did it anyway. To get this wonderful oncology book. Handspring, I've been really loving it. I didn't know about it until I heard about it on a podcast. And then I got Carol Osborne's prenatal book, pre and perinatal. I'm actually taking her class next week in Texas. And then I saw this that's on there as well. But Handspring's got a lot of great titles out there. So but you can get Rebecca's book there specifically. Rebecca and Janet's book. We got to plug Janet in there. Make sure we do that. Yeah. All right, Rebecca. So I have to ask you the hot seat questions.
Okay.
I hope you're ready. Got some good things
I'm ready.
in here. Okay.
I'm ready.
So which talent or superpower would you most like to have?
I would like to be able to speak and understand all the languages of the world.
That is probably my favorite one so far. That is so good. Because then you could pair up with all people who say they want to fly, and you guys can go all over the place and go to travel everywhere and enjoy everywhere.
And I will be able to find a toilet in every country.
Yeah. And order a drink of choice. Yes, it's important. If you weren't a massage therapist, what occupation do you think you'd most like to have?
I thought about this so hard. I've been so many different things. I would always write. But I would either be a groundskeeper for a cemetery or a vet tech.
Okay. I like the tech part. You're like, I don't want the full thing over my head. I just want to go in and do the things.
Yeah. Pick up the poops and stuff,
Yeah.
I don't mind.
I volunteered at animal shelter and I used to do caregiving. So that was pretty much like, what do you do? I'm like, I clean up the poops and stuff.
Yeah.
If money and circumstances were not an issue, where would you most like to live?
New Zealand.
Oh, nice. Have you been?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Did you do a Hobbit tour by any chance?
No, I went. I went actually before The Lord of the Rings was filmed.
Okay.
There, so it's been a long time, but New Zealand.
That's it. My husband's a big Lord of the Rings fan, so I know if we ever make our way there, we have to go on the tours for that.
Yes.
So, yeah. Like as long as there's 11 C's and lunches and all that stuff, I'll be okay.
Yes.
What is your most treasured possession?
This was hard because I don't know about possessions. I mean, I was going to say my cat, but that's not a possession. That's a companion. So I'm going to say my copy of the complete poetry of Emily Dickinson.
Oh, nice. Do you use that like pull to it when you need some inspiration or?
I use that for so many things. I do that. I'm working on developing some kind of a workshop or experience that is based on her poetry or some of her poems.
Oh, cool.
And I she's just kind of my spirit animal. So yeah.
I love that.
No, let me take that back because that is culturally insensitive. But I feel very attached to her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you name your cat Emily?
No, my cat came with a name. I didn't get to pick her name. Cat's name is Bonkers.
All right. And last but not least, what would you tell your 18-year-old self?
Can I can't cuss, can I?
We're not on live TV. I mean,
Okay,
you can
I'm gonna
whisper
cuss and I apologize to people. Fuck what people say. You know who
it.
you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes that just hits the nail on the head. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Just do you. I love it.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Be uncomfortable and yeah, fuck them all.
That's right. That's right.
There you go. It's hard to do. Yeah.
Very.
All right.
Yes.
Oh, Rebecca, I want to thank you so much for being on today. Thanks everyone over at Healwell for doing what they do and giving lots of great information to us massage therapists to help us grow and be uncomfortable. I really, really appreciate that. And I appreciate all your time today. And thanks everyone for watching. And any last words?
No, I don't. Just thank you so much. This was really fun and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And thank you everyone for watching. And Jackie, if you're watching, hi Jackie. So
Yeah.
that's it.
Yay. Bye, Jackie. Bye, Jackie. Thanks, Rebecca. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next
Thank you.
time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.